This is a Drafthouse Diary for Thursday, June 12th, 2025, when I came out to the Alamo Drafthouse at Sloan's Lake to see The Life of Chuck. I don't know that I'm going to use any of this, or I might have more to say later, or this might be it. But I had to say something because I'm reacting to this movie in interesting ways, and I know I'm going to be thinking about it for a long, long time. So I just want to record the fact that it made that kind of impression. I don't want to say too much about this because I knew very little going in, and that's the best way to see this movie. So I'll speak in general terms. It is a meditative character study. I'd say it resonates in some ways with The Truman Show, though with a different tone, a different depth, and it's meditation on the frequently repeated line from Walt Whitman, "I am large, I contain multitudes," and takes a weirdly, I don't want to say literal, in some ways literal, but in some ways simply thoughtful and expansive approach to what that line could mean and what it represents in a person's life. This was based on a Stephen King short story. There are some aspects of it you might expect, but remember, Stephen King doesn't just write horror movies and horror stories and ghost stories. Stephen King also wrote Stand By Me. Stephen King also wrote The Shawshank Redemption. Stephen King is a thoughtful storyteller. And as time goes on, he thinks more and more about people. And I think Mike Flanagan took those ideas in making this film and turned them into something very special. I'll be back soon with more about this trip to the Alamo, but it's a remarkable movie. Definitely deserves to be seen. You know, I try not to let too much time go by between seeing a movie and recording a Drafthouse Diary review, but it has now been 2 solid weeks since I saw Life of Chuck, and I am still thinking about that movie almost constantly. There is so much depth to it, so much that is interesting and troubling and maybe a little confusing, but mostly just emotionally and intellectually interesting. I don't know that I have a whole lot more to say about the movie, but I will sum up by saying it really comes down to being a matter of perspective. And this gives a new and interesting perspective on things we've seen before. It is ultimately a Stephen King story. It has supernatural aspects. It has things that are usually the stuff of horror. But horror is really a very human genre. The things that we are afraid of, the things that cause us to be afraid, are part of what make us human. And what this movie does is it turns that around. It presents horrific things, very human horrific things about prophecy, about fate. And it shows us characters responding to those with hope and with defiance. Not an angry defiance, a defiance of peace and self-possession and refusal to let things that make us terrified govern our lives. I know I'm going to see that movie more than one more time. If you've seen this movie and you've got perspectives on it, I'd really be interested to hear about them. But this is a Drafthouse Diary, so I do want to tell you about other parts of my trip to the Alamo. The pre-show was definitely made for this feature. It had a lot of Stephen King things, including a really interesting point about the way Stephen King stories are connected to one another in unexpected ways. And a lot of other things. To be honest, I forget some of them now, and I don't have my notes handy. But it was a good pre-show. It set us up for the fact that this was a Stephen King story, but a different kind of Stephen King story. For dinner, I tried one of the special items on the Father's Day menu, which was the pig and pineapple pizza, which was a pulled pork and pineapple pizza with a lot of other spicy elements as well. It's similar to a barbecue pork pizza that I had several years ago here at the Alamo, not long after I first got my season pass. But it was very good. I wouldn't get it all the time. The pulled pork makes it very heavy and rich. The spices were good, but it's nice to see that come back to the menu once in a while. The service was good. I saw this at Sloan's Lake. It was only playing at Sloan's Lake in Westminster. It was not playing at the Alamo Drafthouse at Aspen Grove. So even though the facility at Sloan's Lake is not in great shape, the service is always good, the programming is always good, and it was a fine time at the movies. Thank you very much for joining me. I will be back soon with more. In the meantime, enjoy your movies, and when you do, stay till the end of the credits.